Asteroid of fear.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Friday. And this is Richard coming at you from the Men of the House podcast. So, what's up? What's up, everyone? How are you doing this Friday morning or evening or afternoon, depending on what time you choose to tune in? But regardless, or irregardless, I don't know if that's a word, I am grateful that you tuned in and chose to spend a little bit of time with me. Got my hand on the mouse, make sure I'm recording, I'm in full screen. All right, here we go. Let's kick this off. So I've been having, well, let's start. First things first, housekeeping. For the viewers, maybe you can see the fresh fade here on the side. New do, fresh haircut. Normally I cut my own hair. However, Sports Clip sent me a birthday coupon because it is my birthday in 18 days. Well, actually, uh, 10, no, 16. Yeah, 16 days because I'm not recording this Friday morning or at midnight so it can release. Yeah. So yeah, they sent me a coupon and I decided I would go in and get them to touch it up because I've cut my hair the past couple of times and I do a pretty damn good job. But every once in a while, I like to go to a professional so they can clean up any spots that I might have jiffed up. Sometimes they can go a little high, or if I need the length and the dead ends trimmed up, I'll go to the barber then. But yeah, I've been cutting my hair for a while. You know, it all kind of came out of I got laid off and I was looking for jobs and I would apply to jobs, interview for jobs, sometimes get the job, sometimes not. And I turned down some. And, you know, I would always get the haircut for the interview and then either not get the job or you turn down the job. And after a series of those, I'm like, no way. It's too much. And when you keep short hair, you got to keep it nice and neat. And if you don't have somebody to do it for you, you're throwing out 20, $30 every 2 weeks. You want to keep it nice and neat, presentable, if you will, or you're subjected to wearing a hat all the time, which I did for a while as it was growing out in those weird in between stages. So, yeah, it adds up. And I bought myself a set of clippers for about $15 at Walmart. And the guard I use, one of the teeth broke. And it's my main guard. It's the one that does the sides. It's not really a zero. It leaves a little, although I went with a zero this time. And the guard broke, and during that time, I had yet to kind of have one of these professional shave up, line up type of things. And so I went to the barber, and then I was going to the barber for a while. And I kept saying, well, maybe I'll get some new clippers or get a new guard, go to like the beauty supply place. And, you know, part of me is like, a guard's probably what, $5, maybe retail. And I can get a new set of clippers for 15. And my wife ended up finding a set that place she goes to. And it was actually a little bit better set than mine. Came with some colored guards, with color coded for size. And yeah, I ended up using that. And I've been cutting my own hair again. Except for it's my birthday month. I want to be treated. Yeah. But I actually had some errands to run afterwards. And when I do have errands, I do go for the wash. Um, that's the biggest reason I'll go to Sports Clips. I mean, I think Great Clips does it, but whoever's got the coupon, that's where I'm going if I need it. But if I got something to do, I'll definitely take the wash. Yeah. So I hooked that up, went to the chiropractor, and just been spending time with the kiddos. They haven't been doing much. Our niece came back with us from the birthday party. So she's been up here with us all week and went swimming and just kind of been hanging out. Not a lot. We've had some rain, so it's been nasty. Our road, we live out in the sticks, so the eighth of a mile dirt road is quite muddy, but it made for a good day to stay inside for the kids. I didn't get to stay inside. I had shit to do, unfortunately. Yeah, I came out of the chiropractor. I mean, I went in, no rain. I get done, pouring rain. And I stopped to get some cookies. And what else? A little bit of fruit. Oh, sodas were on sale. I know. Calm your tits. I know soda's not healthy. They were buy two, get one free, and the zeros included. So yeah, I hooked up the RC Cola Zero. Kind of one of my, I think that's kind of turned into one of those that my wife and I both dig. Um, way better than Coke Zero by far. I even like it better than Pepsi Zero. But yeah, it's got that. It's got a good clean flavor. My wife likes it, and she's picky as fuck. So if she'll drink it, then yeah, that's kind of one of those we can share. That makes sense. But yeah, even when I came out of I went in, no rain. Came out, fucking pouring rain. And I was sitting there debating, do you put like 3 12 packs under your arm plus the two little bags of groceries and make a run for it? Then I'm like, no, because then I'm not going to be able to reach for the keys, unlock the door, open the door if all the hands are full. And so I'm like, screw it. I'll make a run with the buggy. And oh my God, the parking lot was flooded. So super wet. I'm getting wet. I'm concerned that the 12 packs, the little cardboard box stuff, it's going to get wet and the sodas are going to fall out. I make it to the car. Boy, no keys. Or I could have swore I unlocked the damn car from the little foyer area where the little glass doors open and close on the grocery store. Maybe I hit the lock button and then I couldn't get my hands in my pockets to find my keys. Or I think maybe I had them in a different pocket. I thought they were in my shorts, but they were in my hoodie. It was a fucking hot mess, to say the least. The boxes barely made it. Yeah, that's kind of how the week has been. And outside of that, we're just gonna get ready to return her because she's got some strength and conditioning going on this summer. She is in the seventh grade, I believe, and I think that's the year you start playing sports. And she's done, I believe, golf and volleyball. So yeah, a little strength and conditioning for the summer. Get ready for whatever the year is going to bring. As we get to choose sports, should be exciting. She's excited. And that's all that matters. But on to the real unfiltered Friday portion. That was just housekeeping bullshit. Not really. Not really bullshit. Don't want to call it bullshit, but just kind of a little catch up. But I had this thought the other night, and in this thought, I thought I would turn it into an episode. And I don't really know where this came about. I don't know if it was last week somewhere I came across this thought, and I would maybe even consider making it a series, but it's definitely going to be this episode. And a lot of it is because I didn't sleep well last night. That's right. Mr. Insomnia, no news. I did not sleep great. I was up all hours. It was raining, thundering. Yeah, I had sciatica. I slept in here in my office. There was a little air mattress on the floor in front of me. Watched that. Watched some television. But yeah, if I'm in a mood, feel like I need some thought time, don't want to be, I will, I'll sleep in my office here. And sometimes I need that. And it's not because I'm upset. It's not because I'm mad at anyone. Sometimes I just need this time to think. And so, the name of this episode, possibly the name of a new series, and we're going to talk about is what keeps you up at night. Yep, the quiet fears that men don't talk about until it's 2 a.m. So I spent last night, I've had a few over the past weeks, um, where I felt like I need a little solitude, need a little time to think and reflect, which is weird. You would think that coming straight from Uber, being encapsulated and trapped in a capsule driving down the street, that you are alone and that you have that time to think, because that is often. Um, that's what I love about Ubering, but it's also where I get a lot of my thoughts in, a lot of my thinking in. I'm often switching between the Uber app, or I keep my reminder list open because I have two sections. One of them is the Man of the House podcast. So anytime I come up with an idea or a topic, I'll throw it down on there. And I have another one that was it was a recommendation. I don't know if it was from a podcast or a post. Essentially, it said, I put a list of my reminders. Good things are always happening to me. So anytime something good happens, somebody's nice, somebody does something, I jot that down in there. Kind of goes to that whole principle. I was listening to Joe Rogan's episode earlier, and he's interviewing some guy, I don't know his name, but he he's a mentalist, and he was talking about that Tony Robbins thing. I think he did it on Theo Vaughn's episode, where he said, like, close your eyes and look, tell me now, open them, or close your eyes and tell me everything that was brown in the room. And so it's like, you know, kind of prime your brain to look for stuff. And so it's kind of the same with this good things happening. So yeah, I keep that open often. And you would think that I would have had all the time I needed, but I was in a mood. I've had a lot on my mind. Many things are, school just went out. We had the party, birthday party, and that whole thing. And you heard that episode. A little piece of it got cut off because I was trying to record outside and the Wi-Fi was jeffing at the in-laws' house. And yeah, the main thing was just don't miss, get it out, and offer some value. And I know there was some value in there, but yeah, you can tell I've had a lot on my mind thinking about, the past 19 years as we threw our daughter 21st birthday, and family dynamics and just all of that. yeah, a lot has been keeping me up. I mean, it has just been one weird little time frame since kind of saying yes to Buck back in October. October 12th is the day I got him out. And still haven't fully smoothed out into um, a routine, if you will, something substantial. Then I was like, oh, I'm waiting for school to end, waiting for to register the new vehicle so I can Uber. Wait, do, wait, do, wait, do. Forgive me as I take a moment to hydrate. So, yeah, we got some core topics like unspoken anxiety and silent stress. Um, this is a good one. My notes here. The difference between what men say when they're worried about versus what they really are. I think I made a reference to that in an earlier episode or a post that even if I wasn't fine, more than likely I'm going to say I'm fine. I don't know if that's a man thing. Um, I believe last time I spoke about this is I stated that, well, if you ask me, it depends on who you are. You may not be the person I want to talk to about what I'm not fine about. You might be the person I'm not fine with. So sometimes it's just easier to say fine. But I think that's an in general type of thing. But my last night, man, encapsulated. All you fathers and husbands and men out there, you can relate. It's that who I was as a young man, a little boy, what what I thought I was going to be, what I thought I was going to do, and being here where I am, thinking about where I want to go and be. And I kind of bring that up in position of it's really more about this you age, your parents' age, man, people exit from this life. You think about them, think about, am I where I thought I'd be, where I wanted to be? If so, why? Why not? What can you do? There's a lot of pressure as a man, a father, a husband, a leader. Hmm. I come from a natural place of service. I like to serve people, but as I've aged, I've come to realize like how much I have to take care of me, how selfish I have to be sometimes, or it seems that way. But I know if I'm not good, then I can't be good to other people. I mean, that's why I gave up taking care of Wolf. At that point in time, I was just not in a place mentally and physically and spiritually that I was the best. And that's why I had to say, sorry, I can no longer do this. But yeah, a lot of that. Hmm. I ended up watching this documentary last night, Surviving Death, on Netflix. And I talked about, I feel like maybe I talked about this on a episode in reference to a show I listened to, but this guy said something so interesting was that, I mean, as humans, we all have a vested interest in what happens afterwards. And that's what was keeping me up. I'm sure watching the Netflix documentary didn't help. But yeah, they talked about near death experiences, they talked about reincarnation, a few different things, spirituality. It was it was interesting, and I was kind of in and out of it. I might have dozed off in one of the episodes, I think. But yeah, it was. You can hear the sigh, the tone of my voice. That's tension. That's nerves. That's unknowing, not knowing. It's fear. That's like a avoidance. I don't want to think about that. Too late. You already thought about it. But yeah, that's what's been keeping me up. And it's not so much that. It's, I think looking at that when you go, everyone has a vested interest in death because nobody knows what happens. And, I don't recommend thinking on it too much. And I believe that as humans, I don't think we do. I'm pretty sure we try to avoid it because it's not very pleasant. However, the reason kind of for these thoughts is that that should be guiding you to how you want to live your life, what kind of impact you want to have on the world, if if any at all. Some people are selfish. I'm a server. I serve people. I've cooked for a living, um, worked in hospitals. I was in the military. I raised my right hand and said, I do volunteer. And, so I bring all this up because I think that, all that, what you believe plays into how you conduct yourself, the goals you pursue, who and how you are as a person. Because what just flooded over me in this thought was, well, most people are selfish and they are all about them. And for those kind of people, I don't know what drives them. What drives me is connection in people and making the world a better place. And so, you, in a way, if you're going to go that deep, then you probably should think about what's happening afterwards. And some of this is based on whether are you a Christian or not. You believe in Jesus, in God, or the universe. But essentially, this is that belief or series of beliefs of what you have of what happens after dictates a lot of your behaviors in the present and the now. So, in trying to figure out what's important and why. Yeah, I mean, why are you going to do this or that? I mean, like for me, joining the Navy, make the world a better place, safer, because you believe in humanity. You're patriotic. Mm. My other jobs, kind of a love for people, loving to make people happy, which comes with the downside of being a people pleaser and people take advantage of you and you don't know when to say no, get out of your own way, shit like that. Um, but a lot of people, if they pay no mind to that at all, if all their thing is like, you know, I don't know, what a 19-year-old, I mean, 19-year-old boy, I would say. It wasn't 19-year-old me, but what are most 19-year-olds after? Like, let's make money and get bitches. That's life right there for a 19-year-old male. I'm assuming. And yeah, while I'm certain there is some truth in the matter, please don't take it as a blanket statement of all 19-year-olds are like that, because I know it's not true, because I wasn't like that. But yeah, what are those people? If they're out to fulfill their own needs, desires, then that's what's conducting their behavior, what they do for a living. It's almost like purpose. Yeah, once you find your purpose, then you know. And that too, I think if you're looking at purpose, you're looking deeper, far beyond life, maybe in this physical element. Because, when I think of purpose, when I think of the podcast, I think about serving people, the words that come out of my mouth or a guest's. It's it's about something that's gonna last, last longer than you. It's gonna benefit the world once you're gone. Hopefully, hopefully some of these conversations have that kind of value and impact. I mean, I know that they do, and I enjoy them very much. But yeah, offering alternate perspectives. That's something that we can look back and go, yeah, sure, it's just as a Gen X, my perspective of before the internet versus after the internet, pros and cons. Yes, I love the fact that I can do this and have all this information, or yeah, I'm big into music, film, all that kind of stuff. And so I kind of nerd out on things like who's that actor? What were they in? Where are they from? What's their personal life really like? Or it's like, oh, they're really Australian. He's speaking with it. He sounds American on this TV show because he's got a dialect coach, but he's really Australian. And being able to like look that up right away, it's awesome. But I've also been telling people one of the great things I think about being a Gen X is you have before the internet, we're like in the middle. We've seen it come out, seen it roll out. Um, Not like my daughter who was born with it, and technology has been integrated into her daily life since she was young. But the benefit I have is there are some things that the internet goes down, uh, things happen. I remember the old way. You still remember how to get shit done, whether that means going to an encyclopedia, um, a library, whatever. You figure it out. But yeah, that perspective, and that's what the show aims to offer is perspective, and that perspective can be valuable for as long as time lasts, hopefully, whether or not it'll be relevant. But the things that we talk about that are kind of the human condition that we all suffer from, what it is to be human, whether you're a Christian or not, whether you're selfish or of service, um, whether you want to change the world or not. We all have some basic essentials and in the same in that, we want to love, be loved, and that we're all out here trying to do our best. It was interesting. It was an interesting watch to think of. And there was this really cool thing. So I've always had this thing with cardinals that I think that cardinals are the spirits of loved ones who have passed. And we have cardinals that build a nest in a tree outside of our window every year. I've had cardinals land on my windowsill outside my office when I had an office. And in this show, they were talking, she said something like she had told her mom, or her mom was like, when I pass, then I will, I'll show up as a cardinal. You'll know that that's me. And it was like in a place that cardinals don't normally, I guess they aren't normally there, maybe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you will. All the listeners, if you've watched it and you remember better than I do. But it was cool. The little bird like landed on them. And yes, I'm not the only one. But it was interesting to see that. And then some of the groups I'm in with NLU, like the book club or fitness accountability, one of the one of the coaches there, Amy, she took a picture where she was in the woods and a bird actually was perched up on her hand or finger. And I told her about watching that documentary last night, how that's what they thought, or that was the meaning to them. And I don't think this is abnormal for me. I spent 3.5 months as a living caregiver for a man who passed away. I was there when he passed away. So seeing that, talking about all these things with Buck, about faith, what's important. Because I guess it's like one of those things, as it relates to purpose and whatnot. If you felt like there was nothing more beyond here, then why would you make the effort to do something more? I mean, it seems that the world would be set up for um, mostly being selfish. If there was no purpose or meaning, anything greater than what's beyond here. I mean, that's what I think. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at is as as I've come through all this and approach, man, next month will be 2 years podcasting. Wow. Yeah, as I walk this journey and this road, you start putting the pieces together. And you guys who've listened to all the episodes know me. This is, and that's the ultimate. You can find your purpose and you know exactly what direction to go. And I feel like most people, the hard part is finding out that purpose. And I don't know that I'm 100% sure. I mean, I know it's to make a difference and to help people change perspective. And I do that through conversations. But I don't know if there's anything greater. Hopefully, maybe it just hasn't been revealed yet. The path will illuminate as you walk it, as you become closer to the person you're supposed to be, then it'll show itself. Now, I've always said, I'm going to work on me. And when the time comes, I'm supposed to sell something, my purpose, or there's something bigger, I'll know. But until then, this is the purpose. Just to continue on, being consistent, sustaining my episodes, getting back in the groove, making sure I enjoy it, making sure you enjoy it too. But yeah, it's, man, this is another good one. Providing versus performing. How money shapes identity. I mean, that's the kind of stuff too that keep man up at night. It kept me up for a long time. But this was that thing of deciding not to go back to corporate. Yes, there's this whole world thing where kind of that corporate life is stability, and when you're married and have kids, then that's a big part. Being able to provide for your family. That's only a piece of it. And, part of me making this switch and becoming a podcaster and Uber driver, odd jobber, whatever you want to call it, is so I can provide more. Well, I'm not making the salary that I made. So is that more? No. But I mean more like as in me being here, being present, being available, not with work at the forefront and center of everything, where your life revolves around that. Because most companies almost require it. The moment you stop drinking the Kool-Aid or you're not all in or set boundaries, corporate don't really like that. They don't like it. The boundaries sure don't. That's why I'm not there. But yeah, it's the whole this whole conglomeration of aging, seeing your parents not be able to do the things they once did as things shift. It goes from they take care of you to you taking care of them. The whole work thing, the whole family thing. trying to make sure you're a good provider, trying to make sure you're a good and present father and husband. Talked about being with my wife for 19 years, how you grow individually and you're trying to stay together without growing apart. The guilt of emotionally checking out, not knowing how to plug back in. Being around everyone and still feeling alone. That's the big one. Wrestling with mortality, impact, and the legacy. Will I be remembered for the right things? Making sure you're living in alignment. You're not just on autopilot. That you're doing stuff with intention. That you're not, you know, you're not the puppet with somebody else pulling the strings. Be that the world, a corporation, whatever it may be. Hmm. I would say definitely being a man, being a good man in 2025 is certainly one of the most challenging endeavors one can undertake. To be, I guess, righteous and pious enough. Without being able to, you know, to be able to lead and teach and coach without coming across cocky and arrogant. You know, and we are in this crazy ass world right now where people got too fucking woke and everybody's offended by everything. And then it's like, oh, it's not the words, then it's the delivery. It's just, and so, yeah, trying to get back to where we can find some middle ground in this place. I definitely think it's a time of confusion, but you're starting to see the pendulum swing back the other way. Yeah, the state of the world. I know me. All that time I spent with Buck, conversations, looking at his family dynamics, looking at the path he took. Did that contribute? Is that why my wife and I were there at his bedside when he passed and not his own children? He had good money. He had all the things a man could want or need, I guess. But it was me sitting next to him when he passed away, his family. So yeah, I think those things are worth considering. And if they ain't keeping you up at night, then either you're fucking dialed in or you don't care. Yeah, I think every man should think about all these things. So you can think about how you're going to act, what you want your actions to be like. And I don't mean the ones on social media and just when people are looking. I mean the ones that when no one's watching. So yeah, I think what you think about the future or what's beyond this certainly dictates what you're aiming for while you're here in this earthly life. So yeah, I think it's worth having a sleepless night or two. It's going to make you a better person and ultimately make the world a better place. Because hopefully, if you're listening to this, then I would bet you're contributing to the world and making it a better place somehow. Because that's my goal, that's my mission. The exact hows and everything are yet to be seen and unknown. But in general, I've even thought about that lately. Like, what if I just didn't care? Just did everything for self. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too a big thinker, big dreamer. Um, believe in the good. I'm always one of kind of these people like the best is yet to come. That's the way I feel. I always feel like the best is yet to come. And I sure as hell hope that to be true. But yeah, anyhow, what keeps you up at night? And what are you going to do about it? So I would, next time you have a sleepless night, maybe you go in your reminders or your journal like I do and write a list of what's keeping you up and why. And then start thinking about what you're going to do about it. And maybe it's your relationship. Maybe you need to lose a few pounds. Sure, we all do. But write it down, sit with it, and figure out what action that is going to require you to take so you can get some sleep and not be up all night over this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's scary to put it out there. But I know we all do it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope it wasn't too deep for you. I feel like this is an open-ended conversation that requires some feedback. So hopefully you guys will chime in with what keeps you up at night. And until next time, go out and be the person that you would want to be.
Let go.